Be voting for Rebecca. Robert.
Rebecca.
Rick.
Rebecca.
All right.
Rebecca.
Unanimous.
All right. Thank you. So that actually concludes the nominations. I don't believe we have anything else that we need to do for this specific piece, correct?
That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Excellent. So then we are moving on to number 4, which is the introduction of new staff members.
So I asked our staff who we had hired after we had introduced the large group back in, I think, our September meeting, and we have a few of them here tonight. So we'll start. I don't think, Kimberly, you were here at that time. So if you want to stand up, introduce yourself to the board and tell us what you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Coleman, and I am the 8th grade United States history teacher here at Pioneer. And it is actually my first year teaching in school, and I'm new to Shelton. I'm from Spokane, Washington originally, attended Eastern Washington University. So I am the one giving all those 13 colony quizzes that we've heard about. Very nice to be a part of.
Unfortunately, I couldn't hear her.
Yeah.
So, thank you. That's me.
Thank you.
I'll move you a little closer. Okay, who else do we have in the audience?
Sorry to interrupt. They need to use the microphone, otherwise we won't be able to hear them on the recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a microphone up there, okay? Gonna come up and use the microphone so we can hear you. Sorry, I left that part out when I
You've got it.
emailed you.
Like right up to your face.
My name is Carmen Anderson. I am a educator in special education room over here. This is my first year, just graduated. It's definitely an experience, but I am very happy to be back here because this is where I went to school. Lots of memories, lots of familiar faces I get to see every day. I love being able to build a relationship with kids here. All the jokes that they have and all the stories that they tell me. Yeah, just happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank
Glad you're
you.
here.
Welcome.
Anybody else in the audience that I missed? Okay. We do have more. They just,
Didn't make it.
Shy.
That's totally fine. Okay, up next is recognition of school board members. I believe we have the elementary school going first.
yeah, come up to the mic so we capture every word.
And speak to the board.
So I'm to say thank you for all that our board does for our elementary school. We really appreciate it, all the support. Going through the curriculum adoption last year. We really appreciate what you guys do. It's a huge commitment. Being more than so thank you for that. Is this the time we're supposed to
What's that?
purpose?
No, you do that later.
We brought you a wonderful sign from our first grade class, and then
Adorable.
we did have our latest third grade students have some notes to pass around, and we have our first grade team here presented to that's
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Really important that everybody speak loudly and clearly because it won't go into the recording if you don't. So even if the school board member and your microphones are really far away right now.
So first go at it, so,
No, I
all right, nice and loud.
Okay, I usually talk
Yes,
very
I can hear
loudly,
you.
so that's my middle school teacher / coach voice. So, Kimmy is currently handing out a note of appreciation to each of our board members. And we like to do a special thing for each of our board that we didn't do. We haven't done post-pandemic. We did it for several years pre-pandemic, and that is we like to provide treats for you when you come for the board meeting. So you will actually be receiving treats every study session.
Wow.
I wrote in your letters, consider it brain food. So it could be sugar, it could be fruit, it could be vegetables. Not for me, but it'll be something to help you make it through your study session time. Our staff appreciates you immensely. And I was just talking to Kimmy and it's kind of this weird catch-22 that sometimes when things are floating along really well, you don't see as many of our faces. And then when things gotta go sideways, you see more of us. But I just want you to know that you are always appreciated. We appreciate your interest, and you will read that in some of your cards that you have, that we appreciate the genuine interest that you show in what we do. We appreciate that you stop by and that you see us. Well, it helps with the district offices here, but we appreciate that. We appreciate the questions, the thoughtful insight that you bring and that you have for us when we do our presentations. All of that shows that you are here because you want to see your students succeed as well. But we appreciate the staff, support that you give us and the support for our families as well. So thank you very much on this special evening.
Thank you.
And I do want to mention, Jim did bring some healthy food over there. There are some vegetables and some nuts to go along with the cake. So we'll let you make the choice. No guilt tonight. So thank you, Jim.
Okay. And then we've got you.
Yes. So every year we have a proclamation issued by the governor of the state recognizing our school boards for the 295 school districts across the state and our ESDs. And so every year I like to read this into the record. So whereas the mission of Washington's public school system is to ensure that all students achieve at high levels and possess the knowledge and skills to be responsible members of a democratic society and enjoy productive and satisfying lives. And whereas Washington's 1,477 locally elected school boards of directors and 9 elected educational service district boards are the core of the public education governance system in our state, serve more than 1.1 million students, have a combined annual budget of over $15 billion, and employ approximately 120,000 people. And whereas school boards play a crucial role in promoting student learning and achievement by creating a vision, establishing policies and budgets, and setting clear standards of accountability for all involved. And whereas school board directors are directly accountable to residents in their districts and regions, serving as a vital link between members of the community and their schools. And whereas school boards and ESDs provide a passionate voice of advocacy for public schools and the welfare of school children. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize school board directors as outstanding public servants and champions for public education. Now therefore, I, Jay Inslee, Governor of the State of Washington, do hereby proclaim January 2024 as School Board Recognition Month in Washington, and I encourage all people in our state to join me in this special observance. So that's from the governor. And then from your governing body, WASDA, they provide us with these nice certificates of recognition for your service. So Rebecca, thank you. Appreciate the last one on there. Rick, thank you. Ellery,
Thank you.
Susie Day, and then I have one for Robert Clark that we will make sure we get to him. So on behalf of the school district and especially my role as superintendent, I do want to thank you for your commitment to our children, number one, and our staff. You are the voice of the community representing the Pioneer School District in the community. And I think of all the places I've been, I think there's a true caring here of all 5 board members who represent those areas in our district, that we really do care about our kids, and we do everything that we possibly can to support them and to support our staffs. And my expectation is that will continue with this board, at least during my tenure, and hopefully way beyond that. So thank you for making my job easier. I appreciate the open communications. I feel like anytime you can talk to me, I can talk to you. We've done a good job of keeping our kind of lines of demarcation about whose job's whose, and that makes it just that much easier for us to all perform our roles. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. That's what this is gonna say.
And with that,
Um,
we're gonna go have cake.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break, and so everybody get some cake or snacks.
Or
yeah,
vegetable, or
Or
vegetables.
vegetables, yeah, feel free to make the healthy choice.
Robert, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, if you want to, we're taking a break now to have some cake. You can stay on for about 10 minutes, or feel free if you need to rest and do some icing.
Would you like us to save you a piece of
I
cake?
will go get some ice right now while you guys.
Okay, and we will save you a piece of cake. We'll send it home with, we'll send it home with Rebecca,
Okay. All right, thank you.
daughter Rebecca, Becky.
At first I was like, oh, do they live by each other?
Should have said Becky.
I'm just gonna put it right here.
Thank you. That was really,
Yes,
really
thank
kind.
goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for your voice.
No, I have the biggest voice ever.
No,
Sometimes.
I'm so grateful. And you're right, it's development.
Oh, I know. It's the truth. It is the truth.
These are cute.
Is your daughter having a good year?
Yes. Yeah, she's loving it, which is amazing. It's so fun to see
I
her
was gonna
just
say,
like,
it's gotta be fun.
it really is.
There are a lot of lessons.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
It's a whole different kind of experience.
yeah. Well, and you know, when we first started like planning a family, we thought for sure we'd have a few kids, you know. Then we were like, we got to a point where we were like, we don't want to start over, first of all. And second, we were just happy. Like we were
Child,
Okay, that's it.
thank you.
they come.
Chris? Hey, how are you? Clean shaven, what's up with that?
You're not going to work like that. You need to shave. So just so you know, until I get there's one other wire that needs to be put in here. Until that, this is
Yes.
the speaker that's in microphone,
Picking up everything.
picking up everything. So that's why everybody has to speak. So
We have another one of these, you just need the connector, yeah.
I know.
Hopefully
It's a whole different
Perfect.
ballgame though. Like they're not used to having that other person constantly in their life harassing them just a little bit.
I'd say that, and Carolyn.
we can sign back.
Oh, so there's like a whole string of them. Well, there you go. And have a hard time with other students.
A Lisa card?
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed for hard rockers. Like she loves being around other kids. She loves having friends. She loves to play, but she has a hard time with the way she because she communicates on very grown up level. And so, yeah, it can be a problem.
I discovered that fair was a big word.
Yeah,
Who's over here with you, so yeah.
I think that's the only expenditure. Oh, that just, okay. Let me ask Chris.
I wonder.
There you go.
I'll set it aside here.
I don't know if they've in the past attached all the credit card expenditures other than just a line item, but I'll ask him.
Just pay it. I don't remember seeing it like that before, but maybe.
Jeff, how are you feeling?
Getting better every day.
Boy, that's rotten luck having to do surgery. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
Go through that.
luckily I only had to miss 2 days of school because I did it on December 22nd. So
Well, so you were
I
like,
did it by purpose. And then I came back on what day? I came back on the 7th or 8th, whatever that Monday was. We came back Thursday, Friday, and that next Monday. So yeah, had to be done, getting better.
did you have to do lots of physical therapy?
I only did 4 sessions. And then I could do the exercises at home.
Really?
A lot of ice, to get the swelling down but they want you up and walking right away.
Yeah, to get the
Yeah.
exercise and
As
blood
soon as I came out and woke up, nurse was there, surgeon came in, checked on me and said, okay, did my blood pressure and stuff. And then, okay, get dressed, you can go home. Okay.
Did they at least get you a wheelchair or anything on the way?
I had my walker. I used the walker.
Wow, they're rough.
Yeah,
Okay.
walked outside. Sarah, my wife, opened the car door. I hopped in the seat. She drove me home and
Gosh,
yeah.
that's pretty hardcore. I mean, after I had my elbow surgery, they at least wheeled me out.
Oh, yeah.
I was all shaky. Did you feel?
Everybody's policy, I think, is probably a little different.
Um,
But
well, hopefully you want to.
only medication I took was Tylenol and some anti-inflammatory because I'm always worried about infection. But they did the stitches on the inside and they glued it, so there's no stitches that had to be removed.
Wow.
But a big waterproof bandage that when I went back 2 weeks after surgery, they took it off, said everything looks good. You can,
So
do
you were
everything.
able to shower with like that
Yep,
on? You didn't
yep.
have to do.
they said no bath, no hot tub, no soaking,
No soaking.
but you could shower.
Yeah.
So,
Boy, that's nice.
Yeah.
I didn't get one of those.
how's your daughter doing?
Oh, Olivia's, there's a little bit of an emotional trauma that comes with such a long day. She doesn't
Right.
go to school. There's like a problem with a boy and she's trying to touch her stars on her tummy.
Now, where do you guys live? What district?
Tumwater.
Okay.
But I've been telling Trish that we're trying to buy a house, and I was looking at some houses in the South area, and we're thinking about putting an offer on one in Lake Limerick.
There's a couple houses for sale up right, like one on St. Andrews,
That's
right down
it.
from where I live, right on the corner, one on the corner.
Found one with
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got 2 stories and a
Yeah,
U-shaped driveway.
yeah, it's just down the road from me.
You live on that same
I
road?
have an apartment above the house, so when you come into Lake Limerick,
Talk me into it.
and you go past the golf course, and then you come up and you stay right, past Lake, what's the little lake there called?
No.
Oh, it's another Irish name, Lake. Anyway, it's not the big lake, it's not like Limerick big, but anyway, you go down there and then you kind of come up around a hill and then there's the yellow house. I'm at the apartment. Okay.
Gosh. So if I get it,
We'll be neighbors.
neighbors.
And Deacons just live around the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
We get it. But yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love it.
That would be really ideal.
I'm sure you'll get it.
Coming up on a year since his surgery, which is
Oh,
Yeah.
I got it.
It's right.
Right after that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, we're almost getting used to post op. And there's something about that in it of itself that's terrifying. Yeah.
So.
Yep.
He's not being able to hear.
Yeah.
Do they just need to like adjust your hearing aids or something, or how come it, or is it because of all the noise? Like,
I think it's,
yeah,
I think it's the fact that I need to go back in and put it in. Where's your cones? My ears.
Don't have a sweet tooth.
pull more, yeah, pull more of the right noise in for you. Mhm. I mean, I struggle sometimes, yeah.
And we can't see
Sometimes we have birthday parties at the
Chris, yeah.
we have very soft voices.
Yes, they do.
Usually I can.
So we use that as contained.
Yeah.
Individual.
Relax. How sensory easier to impact.
So every meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also the energy. My reaction when I can't.
We'll get those to you.
Not enough to make.
If you see them, you know, like in the future, when you get your packets and you see that, say, yeah, I'm missing
But
it,
it makes sense.
then let us know. But I talked to Chris
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
every credit card expenditure for the month, so it'll be a big package.
All right. What do we think?
Robert, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Turn your mics on if you turned them off.
That's good.
I just muted so that I don't get back or anything. Yeah.
What's that?
I just put mine on mute. If you want me, I'll chime in.
Okay.
All
I think
right.
the only thing that would be, we have 2 action items at the end.
Okay, welcome
Right.
back, everybody. Up next, we have any requests to address the board? No written requests? Okay. Are there any requests here? Not written. Okay. No requests for the board. Up next is changes and or additions to the agenda. Do we have any changes or additions?
No, not tonight.
Excellent, thank you. Oh,
Yes, I'd like to ask.
oh, okay, excellent. Yep, if you want to come up and use the microphone up here so that we can all hear you. And then just so that everybody knows, so the board does not respond to any questions during public comment, but welcomes questions and conversations and will respond at a later date. Any examples of uncivil comments include those that are libelous or slanderous, unwarranted invasion of privacy, obscene or indecent pursuant to the Federal Communications Act, violate school district policy, incite an unlawful act on school premises, or create a material and substantial disruption of the orderly operation of the board meeting. Take it away.
My name is Sharon Erickson. I am here as a concerned parent. I see nothing that any administrators or teachers are doing, but I'm seeing the community as a whole as a pretty major bullying problem. A lot of anger and aggression. And I'm not sure what the answer is, and I'm not sure where to start with this. So I'm putting it out there to the school board that maybe we can start to look at this and maybe tap into some kind of resources as far as getting them out there to parents to help kids to calm the aggression, to calm bullying, and maybe more resources for training to help the kids. I started up at the high school 3 years ago,
And we've managed to lost a student to suicide, a Pioneer Middle School student. 1 year before that was also a Pioneer Middle School student that took her life. I think that is something that needs to be looked at and addressed. And I think it's a community problem. I'm not placing blame on anybody at the school. But when I have my own kids, fearful to go to school and they stay home and I call it a mental health day, I think there's something wrong. So it's time maybe that we start looking at that as a community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right, up next, then we were at the approval of the regular meeting agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda?
I'll move to approve the regular meeting agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the regular meeting agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes unanimously. Up next is the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. None opposed. The motion passes unanimously. All right. Up next, we have the principal reports.
We have our first,
Really loud.
we do have our first grade teachers here, so maybe we should have our first grade teachers come present, and then we get to all the other great things that are going on in our school. But right now, our first grade teachers like to come up. Their students.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Whitehead. I'm one of the first grade teachers at elementary school. And myself and Mrs. Deegan are here to share a little bit about our first grade students' first unit science projects. So unit 1 was all about plant and animal defenses. So I'm going to go ahead and let Mrs. Deegan and her students start us off, and then I'll finish it up and show you guys some of our projects. So in this unit, our first grade students are learning about plants and animals and survive. And in my class, we just finished up the models of the different defenses that plants and animals can have. So these friends that came with me today are sharing the models that they created that represent each of the defenses that they can have. And Ryan would like to share hers with you first.
My name is Scorpion, and Scorpion statement, and Anna,
Nice. And I'm going to talk for my friend Dax. So Dax, if you can hold your model up. Dax's model represents an animal that's defense is shells or armor. And Miss Scarlett, you want to carefully pick up your model. You want to talk? Okay. Scarlett's clay model represents an animal's defense that is camouflaged. And then the others that I have here represent spikes and spines, and this one is a combo.
Nice.
So with this modeling, the students also, sorry, that's the agenda. The students also wrote about their defense, just a sentence. Ryan read hers. whatever animal they want to portray and what their defense was, and then they drew a picture to represent what they did as well. So now I'm going to bring Mrs. Whitehead and her students. So after we have spent some weeks learning about animal survival needs and also the different kinds of defenses that they can have, the students actually chose one of 4 animals to do a research project on, write an informative paragraph, and then build their own animal models, including painting like the habitat. And so I have a couple of my students here to share their models. So Ada, would you like to tell everyone what your animal was?
My animal is a lionfish.
Aiden, would you like to tell everyone what your animal was? Aiden's animal was a pufferfish. And then a couple of the other animals that we had were green sea turtles and also Sally Lightfoot crabs.
All right, thank you first graders for coming in and presenting. That was awesome. So just to give you a little bit of an update on what the school's been doing the last couple of weeks since we've been back. We did our Ames web testing, which is our screener for kids to kind of see where they're at. And the good news with that is we're seeing progress. So, and that is a credit to our teachers and to everyone that helped us adopt a new ELA curriculum. Because what we're really seeing is growth in those areas. And so that's good for teachers because, you know, a good law introducer, I think we're doing the right thing. And so when we're looking at students, you know, like it's getting more of the change. All being used very data driven here. There's red, yellow, and green. We want students in the green where they're supposed to be at that data. And so we moved quite a few students out in the yellow to the green, which is good. So we're still working on the other support. We're good. We feel like we're swimming in the right direction. So the Ames web testing was really, we felt like good to see, and I feel like we're shot in the arms of like, hey, this is good. We've got curriculum that's working well, and we're digging in, and so we're going to see that reflection in our test scores in the spring as well. We also had our Eagle Assembly last Friday. Thank you, Priscilla, for running it. That was sick. We have our MLK Day Assembly as well too, which was first grade. We'll attend by our parents. A cool thing that Mrs. Horn, our music teacher, was able to get a grant, and then we used some money from the district, our Title IV money, to buy mini keyboards that plug in to the kids' Chromebooks. So she could actually start teaching like music, like with the mini keyboards and keyboarding. I thought was super neat. So she got that grant, and we used some money to supplement to really kind of enhance their music program. So that was a win. It shows what we did by world drums. So she's been able to do some drumming too with it. So just really trying to build our arts program. And that was, we bought the drums with Title IV money that we had available. So we're really trying to build our music and arts program. So really get to the band. And we know that that also too is going to help us, the kids that are in the music, helps advance their skills. All right, last and first over, just want to let you guys know that we have 2 teachers that have volunteered after school. We're going to start up our ASP leadership class, and we're going to attempt a yearbook. And so this is just an enrichment activity. So you have to have your teacher nominate you 3rd through 5th grade. And then you had to get her permission. So we had about 30 kids get nominated. We sent that out to parents. We're trying to figure out right now, I think we've got about 10 people respond, but they have to Friday. So hopefully by Monday, if we'll turn in their report, we'll have close to 30. But right now we have 10. So that's really cool. And we're going to really try to use our character strong, teach leadership skills, get our ASP going nice and strong next door. And then also be able to have the fun part, like doing a yearbook with the kids. And so it'll be kind of an enriching activity. So we're trying to get that going right now. So I'll pass it over.
So he just kind of talked about our Character Strong with the ASB and leadership. And another cool thing that we've got going on is we are doing our Tier 2 Character Strong groups. So we started in 4th grade and in 1st grade. In 1st grade, we're about week 6, so there's 8-week program. We are running some small groups. So Miss Smith, our MSS coordinator, Lori Watkins, our counselor, and myself, as well as one of the teachers in those grade levels, typically our running Miss Deacon is actually one of them running the groups too. So we get to do some small group work with kids on like regulation, coping, social skills. Yeah, so it's kind of based on where our cell data showed our kids might need a little bit of extra. They're getting some small group work around that extra. So we've been doing, like I said, 1st and 4th, and we are now in the planning stages of including 2nd and 3rd into that. Hopefully on February 7th, we'll start those groups. So there'll be 4 grades getting extra support in their social and emotional skills, which is really exciting. We have our literacy nights coming up on the 15th, which is kind of going to be a joint middle school, elementary school. I think we've decided to hold it at both schools. So they'll have some really fun activities here at the middle school, and then milk and cookies will be served at the elementary, and they can read a bedtime story with a teacher or do some literacy type activities. And then we also, Trish and I might hopefully not taking your thunder too. We both connected with the mobile library through Timberland Regional Library today. And so we're going to create some stops here at the elementary and the middle school with the mobile library, which is super exciting. Bringing more books and activities. He's got like STEAM activities for kids and partnering with them and building that partnership. So that's really exciting. Also kind of coming out of the ashes of rebuilding is our PTO, and they've got a glow night coming up, which is going to be fun. It's a dance, so those will be coming home for kiddos, the permission slips to those. And then I just wanted to do a quick math committee update. So we have met as a committee 2 times now. We have narrowed it down using EveryWorks and other resources through OSPI and using our local 113 and 114, since we kind of communicate both with North Mason and Shelton. I wanted to make sure both of those were able to communicate, because we do share kids with North Mason as well, to see like what are the math curriculums out there, K-8, that are really strong and solid as a K-8 system, not as a K-5 and a 6-8, but as a full K-8 program. We've narrowed it down to 3 curriculums. I've requested samples and materials from those curriculums, and we will be looking at them on February 6th and kind of diving in to see if we really want to do a deep dive on all 3. Is there one that we want to weed out? Is there one coming to the top? And then start kind of narrowing the process and potentially working it into the classrooms a little bit from there. So on February 6th, we'll come back together. Hopefully those materials will arrive. They should be here this week or next week. And so we can kind of dig into them and see what's going to rise to the top and where we're at with that. So hopefully by the April board meeting, we will have a recommendation that we will keep you updated on the steps as we go through those.
I wanted to add real quick too, that we will make those, if we get down to the 2, we'll make those available for parents to come in and take a look. We'll get that set up once the committee continues to do their work. We'll get the information out to the community if they want to come in and take a look at the curriculum.
And if you guys have any questions or concerns about the process, you can always bring that to me and come chat with me as well.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Nope, I think we're all set. Thank you.
I promised that I would keep it very short today, short and sweet. So I have 3 things that I would like to bring to your attention at the middle school level. The first one is this Thursday, which is 2 days from now, our middle school STEM team will be taking a project and headed to I believe the Lacey Community Center to present before our governor. They were one of 3 teams who were chosen from all of the STEM teams that were, that are presenting that day. They were one of 3 to be chosen to present right directly before the governor speaks. So it is an incredibly high honor to have that. And I believe that they are doing their presentation on bees, if I'm not mistaken, mason's bees. I think that's what it is. So they will definitely be coming here to do a presentation as well. But we also have the, when Jeff will talk about our family night, that's coming up, our community dinner, we do have our science fair that same night, and that is in February. Our second incredibly really cool thing is that our band was invited to go up to junior band night on Friday evening at Shelton High School. So they will be leaving here right after the high school, right after school, and heading up there, do some practicing, and then they will be playing at the basketball game that night with the high school band. That is going to be so much fun for those kids. And then the third thing that I wanted to let you know of is that first trimester ended, and we were able to populate what our grades look like. And we wanted to make sure to give recognition to those students who scored in our honors category, our high honors category, and our highest honors. Our honors category runs from a 3.5 GPA to a 3.77. Our high honors runs from, 7.4. Our high honors is from 3.75 to 3.99. And then our 4.0 is our highest honors. We had a total of 79 students who scored in the honors, high honors, and highest honors. That is 31% of our student body who scored at a GPA of 3.5 or higher, which is incredible. Of those students, 9 of them kept a perfect 4.0 GPA. So I know it's very, very. We're very excited for our students and the academic progress. We made a commitment that we were going to push academic achievement this year. And it has been very, very difficult because we know we are working with human beings and we can have lots of goals and everything, but when it comes right down to it, it comes down to everything from encouragement and motivation to sometimes making sure that Saturday school is an option for students, and which we had 8 show up this last Saturday. But we are committed to making sure that our students know what rigor looks like and making sure that our students have exposure to the type of work that they will need to experience once they get to that high school level and beyond. So thank you for your presentation. Any questions at all?
Congratulations. Yeah.
Those kids were hard, let me tell you. So very excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Up next, we've got Chris with business operations.
Okay, so we'll talk about December. This is the financials for December 31st, 2023. In the general fund, we had $1,130,000 of revenues, $1,480,000 of expenditures. And our enrollment for the month was 742. I actually wrote the January and we're up to 748 this month. But for the time being, our average is 752, almost 733. Ending fund balance for the general fund is 852,000. Capital projects, the other 4 funds, there was just a little bit of interest revenue and then some tax collections in the debt service fund. Already through the capital projects fund had $1,652 of revenue, and then fund balance is $94,556. Debt service had $11,424 of revenue, and income balance is $374,000. The ASB fund had $552 of revenues, no expenditures. $47,371 is the ending fund balance there. And then the transportation vehicle fund, we had $1,177 of revenues, and then $275,000 is the ending fund balance there. There are a few things on the budget status report that I wanted to touch on. Changes from last month, stuff like that. So the first one on, in the revenues, the general fund, we'll see actually for the month, there's a negative $88,800 in funds. That is just a reclassification of the E-rate revenues. When they came in originally, we allocated them to the wrong account code. So that's just an update showing the correction. The 6,000 federal special purpose revenues, that's where that those revenues are allocated. So that's, you'll see a big increase. Other thing I wanted to point out is down in the expenditures, you'll see the 77,000 programs, other instructional programs. That one, the balance shows negative $163,500, or it's just about $1,000 or 1,000% What that is, that's the E-rate expenditure there, and that wasn't budgeted in this program, but in the federal stimulus program, so the 10, the second line down on expenditures. So that's why that is huge looking. And then in addition, there's a lot of local grants and donations. Those go to program, those go to the 7,000s as well. So that's, we've got a lot of small grants this year. Then I had on here, and then like I said, there's not much, there wasn't much activity in the other funds. For the capital projects fund, we see some expenditures there, those are all related to the district office. I need to know the reimbursement from the general fund to this fund, which that's what the resolution that you guys are going to vote on later, that's what it's for. I can't legally do it until that resolution passed. So then we'll see some corresponding revenues in capital projects from January or February, 1 to 2 months. No notes about the debt service fund. Notes about ASB, the transportation vehicle fund. I just wanted to touch on the expenditures. There's another negative ending balance there. That was just where those expenditures were budgeted. At budget time, it wasn't known what account code those, and that's the chargers, the bus chargers. It wasn't known which account code, so that's there's a discrepancy there. We also received reimbursement for the large majority of that this month, so that'll show up in next month's forward books. That's all the notes I have in there. I updated the charts, the expenditure and revenue charts. And then the last thing that I had, actually, are there any questions on any of that before I move on?
I just had a quick question for the general fund. You were talking about the offset between the line 70 expenditures, the instructional programs, and then line 10, the federal stimulus. Is that correct?
Yes.
So those are not the exact same number. Is that like offsetting each other, or how does that work?
So what happened is, let's see. So it was originally budgeted in that intense federal stimulus. That's the $671,000 figure right there. And what the balance is doing is taking that budgeted figure, subtracting our actual, and then subtracting our encumbrances. And that's where our balance comes from. I moved the actual, I moved figures from the actual from 10 down to 70. So it was a direct offset expenditure wise, but these percentages, they're not going to get necessarily exactly the same.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and last thing, I came by after during our break and I set down another sheet. It's just kind of a general update sheet that I know you guys liked hearing about this in It's in November. But there were some local grants and donations that came through since the last time I gave this update. The PSE Union donated $500 for our revenues, $250 to each building. The Community Departments of Education grants for CPA, they donated $3,020 total. And there's 6 teachers that got awards. Deanna Horn, like Mark mentioned, she got the keyboards for music literacy. Sierra Michael got funds for enhancing core curriculum, CKLA. Donna Squires for building literacy with microbits. Vicki Rance for Readers Theater. Autumn Golden was a multimedia program. And then Desiree West for elementary composition journals. And then another small one, Mason County School Retirees Association. They generally donate or grant us the funds every year. This year we got $719 total. Abby Ashcraft got $250 for the multilingual reading program. I think I read that they're going to pair up older students with younger students, Spanish speaking or other languages. Brandy Ryan got $219 for playground equipment, and then the second grade teachers got $250 for insect clay building project, which kind of sounded like that's what the first grade teachers did as well. I'm not sure about the whole program details there, but just reading the description earlier. That's it for local grants and donations. There is the BEST grant, which is beginning to help me out, Jeff.
Support for teachers.
So beginning teachers and support for them. We got a grant through the ESV that's $16,250 for activities directly related to teacher induction work. And then a few other updates. The state auditor's office will be starting their audit. I think this next week I have my first meeting set. That will be a 1-year financial, a federal or a single audit. No accountability audit this year. It should be fairly cut and dry, but we'll see. And then we also have another sort of audit going on. OSPI is doing a program review. And they are, we're waiting on responses from them. We actually received responses and we're waiting to look at them now. But that is, they're looking at Title I, Title IV, which are both federal programs, and then transitional bilingual and just those type of things. So we're getting a big review, district-wide, I guess, program-wide. That's all the updates I have for you guys. Any questions?
Will that include review of the ESSER funds?
Yeah, so that's probably what they'll audit in the state audit, the state auditor's office. They generally look at the biggest one, and there was a finding last year, so we're gonna have to go on it anyways. If I assumed that's what it would be. But they are also in the program review. I submitted some ESSER documentation as well. So they're looking at it both, in both different areas.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Chris. Coming to you, Jeff.
All right, well, let me start. First of all, you have the written report in front of you that you can take a look at your leisure. Just highlighted a few things there. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. But then, since Chris was talking about donations or grants, I did want to recognize some donations that we received from local industry. So the first one was wood chips for the garden. Sierra Pacific Industries donated wood chips and Brady Trucking delivered those. So that was a donation. And then again, Brady Trucking, we recognize them for their donation to deliver those. And then, let's see what the other one was here. Oh, and then we had a donation from Belco for 2x6 by 4 foot, 39 pieces of wood that will work, that will be used to upgrade our garden beds and then continue to work on our garden to table class for the Eagle Garden. So I want to recognize those 3 local companies. Also wanted to give you well, I don't have much of a facility update. Our schedule that Lloyd and I were given last month had the modulars starting to be delivered last Friday. Obviously, if you look out there, there's nothing. We were initially told that it was because of the weather, and then they turned around and said, well, the buildings aren't done yet. So Lloyd is actually making a trip up to the warehouse tomorrow. He'll be up there all day looking at the progress. I told him, keep your cool. We want to get this building done. There is some work that we found on the foundation on the post and beam. When they did that work, they had the pressure treated posts were fine, but then in some areas they had the non-pressure treated kiln dried fir that has to have a vapor barrier attached between the pressure treated and the regular kiln dried lumber. They still have not come out and done that. There's 21 posts where all they have to do is slide some vapor barrier underneath, but they'll get that done. So one of the things we're trying to get done tomorrow is an updated schedule. So we'll keep you posted on how that goes. Everybody's really excited to get that building going and to get us moved into it, but we still have some delays. Trish mentioned this, but our next community dinner is February 28th at 5:30 here, and it's in conjunction with our annual science fair. So if you remember last year, we did the science fair earlier in the year. This year, the staff decided a little later. So on the 28th of February, we'll have food that we'll serve in here. We're still working on the menu. So if you want to be surprised, come on the 28th. And then the science fair will be set up in the gym. And that's just a great event. Want to give you an update too. Our district leadership team has been working on our continuous improvement plan at the district level. We've got a draft completed this last Wednesday. I will be sending out the minutes from the DLT meeting as well as the draft. The next district leadership team meeting will be in February. I think it's on the 17th. I'll have to, or maybe the 21st. We'll finish up that work and I'll bring it to the board during the February meeting just to share the continuous improvement plan with you and go through that process. And then you'll see the work that the district leadership team's been doing. We had a really good turnout Wednesday. Virtually everybody was there. I think we're up to 17 members now. So thanks, Susie, for representing the board. And then we have some parents and classified and certified staff, and our administrative team are all there. We have representation from our multi-tiered system of support coordinator and one of our counselors. So we have good representation as the district leadership team continues to do the work on behalf of the district and help to move us forward with our plans. Other than that, you can read the rest of my report that I set in front of you, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. As you know, my door's always open. Some of you have taken advantage of that. Some of you have not, but you're always welcome to come in. You may want to just check ahead of time with Lynn, because some days I may be out of the office at a meeting, or like tomorrow I'm at the SD in the morning from 8 o'clock till about 12:30. So, but other than that, I'd love to have you come in if there's any questions you have.
I have one now.
Yeah.
Update on the buses, on the electric buses.
No update. I can give you the chargers had been installed and they were inspected last week, and they will be commissioned next week. And the buses are supposed to be en route from Spokane to Seattle to have all of the stop paddles and the arm out and the lights. From there, they will be trucked to the co-op, who will install the cameras and the radios. And once they're there, then we get them after WSP inspects them. But, yeah, you'll see, just speaking of that, you'll see in my report, one of the paragraphs gives you a few of the legislative bills that are being worked on. One is, excuse me, one is a bill that requires electric buses throughout the state by 2036, I think is the latest date. So
That bill may change after the spell that we had that affected.
that bill could certainly change. Yes, and I don't know, and they don't know where the funding's coming from. So obviously we'll see. But that's all I have.
Did you
So
mention, the social media coordinator? What did I miss that?
that's in your report, but we did hire social media coordinator. Daylor Thurman Williams is our social media coordinator. She's working on getting those we already have 2 of those set up, Facebook and Twitter, or X, working on getting Instagram and LinkedIn set up. We're going to locate them a little differently on the more noticeable on our website. If you go down and look at the website, you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom and see the little bird and the little Twitter icon. We'll move those up where they'll be more noticeable. And then once that's set up, we have some parameters on how we're going to get those information loaded up from our staff and anybody else who wants to share. And so we'll keep you posted and let you know when that goes live. So we're hoping, and anything, it's like anything else in the world, is that social media is great as long as you get up-to-date information. And people then will go look and check things out. If you have information that is 2, 3, 4 weeks old, they're going to look at it the first time and say, hey, this is great information. And then they're going to go back and check again. It's the same stuff. And then they go back and check. So we've got to make sure, and this will be up to our staff and Daylor to make sure we're continuing to feed out information that's new and updated. So that'll be the challenge.
Were you able to hire from within the district, or did you?
Daylor is a college student that is majoring in digital communication and has done work for us in the summertime in the technology department.
That's why I knew the name.
So,
Really
yeah,
good.
she's been here 2 summers that I'm aware of. And then, so this is a perfect fit for that position. So.
Nice. I just wanted to mention real fast, you've got this first section here about everything that happened with the broken water pipe and everything. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that was on here, because I know that was probably a much bigger feat than we were hoping for, right? Nobody likes that kind of a setback, and it was a lot. And we had to move a whole classroom, and I believe it was Mrs. Chemmer's room, and she's out right now too. So it had lots of layers. So I just want to thank everybody who worked on getting that fixed. That's awesome. Okay, any other superintendent report questions
Nope.
or anything?
Any questions?
Okay, we are moving on to our discussion and action items. The first thing we have is the non-high designation of serving high school.
So every year we just need approval of where our kids, when they go to high school, where they go, and they have that agreement. So that's what that is.
Yes,
Well, here.
and I was able to.
Eventually.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I was able to take a look, and it looks like it's North Mason and Shelton High School. Does anybody else have any questions or anything about it? Nope.
I think that's what they've always been.
Yeah.
Been at the
Yes.
school here too.
Yes, yeah. All right, great.
Jeff, could you tell us what the split is in terms of kids going to North Mason?
I think the last count we had, and Lynn's got it, we have about 20 to 25 kids that attend North Mason. The rest of our kids are attending Shelton, which would be around 250, maybe closer to 260. Roughly, we have 70 to 75 kids in a class. So, you take 9 through 12, puts us around 280 kids, and about 25 go to North Mason.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the non-high designation of serving high school?
I move that we approve the non-high the non-high, designation of serving high school.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. No.
Aye.
Thank you, Robert. No opposed, so the motion passes unanimously. Up next is, oh,
Yep,
yeah,
no.
okay. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, resolution I 2024 or 2024.
Yeah, so this is, like I mentioned earlier, this is, giving me the authority to, ESSER reimbursements from the capital replacement. When OCI sends out a portion, they send it all into the general fund. And like I said, this is what I need before the county treasurer will let me move those funds. I actually tried to just give you all the resolution that I need one. So here we are. But yeah, this just gives more of the specifics, but when we receive the reimbursement from general fund, I'll do a transfer from general fund to capital projects when those revenues will show up on the budget status in the credit.
Do we have any questions regarding that or discussion? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the redirection of federal reimbursement funds?
I'll move to approve the redirect of federal reimbursement funds.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. All right, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 No opposed. The motion passes unanimously. Up next is topic number 14, which is new business. Do we have any new business discussion? Okay.
Can I just mention real quick, because this
Yes.
came recommendation that we add this to our agenda. So if down the road, let's say next month, there is new business, we will bring that forward in the meeting, but no action will be taken until there's either information provided, more information needed, and then if it becomes an action item, we would act on it in the next meeting with the
So you can
information.
say, I have something to bring up.
Yes, if you have under new business, something new that you want to implement or have a vote on or create policy around, we can bring it up, but we won't make it an action item until the next meeting because there's usually information that needs to go with it.
I do have something I'd like to bring up that in light of the input that we had today, is that I think we should look more specifically at issues around supporting our students around the bullying. Not that we aren't doing it, but that we bring it forward so that it's clear beyond just what we know. We talk about our positive programs that are like Character Strong. We sometimes, it isn't conveyed that that is the flip side of, that it is a procedure that we're using to address bullying. So I think in the future, I'd like to have us have maybe some presentations from
Sure.
staff and discussion about definition and the levels of how things are addressed. And because I think we certainly know much is going on in our district to address that, a lot of which is not loud. It's just done as a matter of routine. But I'm not sure that our community knows that. And I think it would help them understand a little better what we're already doing and maybe help, we can enlist them to support those things when they understand the function that they have. And then have a vehicle or talk about the vehicle that exists for those situations that are extraordinary. You know, yes, we do have a process. This is how it's handled. It's confidential, you know, but you did the right thing by coming forward and talking to us about it. But I think we need to overtly address it so that it's.
We made an effort in the fall. If you'll remember, our first community dinner was all around mental health and the mental health of students. And so the ESD came down with their mental health experts and did a presentation on how to cope with those kinds of issues. We had our own panel here with our counselors, our school psychologists, doing presentation on harassment, intimidation, bullying, and what that looks like, because a lot of times bullying is not bullying. It's by the definition of bullying. It's sometimes the words that are used are not nice, but they don't get to the point of bullying. And we want to make sure that was clear. So we've made that effort in the fall with our first community dinner. We will continue to do that and get information out on what specifically we're doing.
Forums for it.
Yes.
And it isn't, sometimes it passes right over people until it somehow or another hits home, and then all of a sudden it feels like nothing's happening because you are not paying attention, you're not aware.
Right.
But I think that sometimes it just has to be plopped around over and over, but particularly helping people understand that our approach is to be proactive and as preventive as possible first.
Right.
And
Well, I gave, one of the examples I gave, if I can for a minute, would be in the past, I'd had somebody complain that my child's being bullied on the playground. And I said, well, what does that look like? And they said, well, they won't play with my child. And I said, well, that's really not bullying. Bullying has to be targeted. It has to be repetitive. There has to be some kind of a size difference, intimidation wise. So it's just a matter of, yeah, we want kids to play with each other, but it doesn't fit into the term of bullying. And I think just the terminology and defining what that looks like, same thing with harassment and intimidation. So-and-so's intimidating my child. What's that look like? What's happening? And then, of course, we take those seriously. We do an investigation, but a lot of times they said a word that should be used, but it's not really, they're not necessarily harassing. So I think just continuing to educate not only our kids, which I think we're doing a really good job, because bullying and harassment, intimidation is never going to go away. It's been around for centuries, since the start of the world. But we can certainly do the best we can to educate our kids about how to deal with it if you become a victim. And if you end up being the perpetrator, why? What makes you do that? And usually there's some extenuating circumstances that occur outside of school that causes a student to become a bully or a harasser or an intimidator. And again, some of those things, we only have them for 6.5 hours a day. We can provide all the information we can to our community and our parents, but we only can do what we can do at school, and we continue to make every effort, not only through Character Strong, but in our advisories at this building and with our small groups at the other building with counselor, our MTSS specialist, and other teachers. So we will continue to do that and make every effort to make sure we not only educate, but we're dealing with HIB, harassment, intimidation, bullying, the best we can.
the other thing that related to that, I think, is for the parent or adult who feels the child is being bullied, and the child feels they're bullied, and it's then defined for them that's not what it is, to reassure them that we don't just walk off at that point, but say, but here's what we are doing for the children who are having trouble making friends, and that's what Character Strong's about, that's what Kelso's about, that it's a continuum. There aren't holes.
Yeah.
I mean, to speak, we're looking at the whole thing. That's
Are we getting feedback or follow-up from the parents after, after instances where they feel like their child for the whole, and then they reach out, we talk to them and figure out the situation? Certainly have months later, but they would report back to us on.
Yeah, and obviously in a lot of cases, we want to deal with it at the building level, and then we want to come up with a plan. Part of what we run into is confidentiality issues, is that we just don't say, well, this student did this. But I think for the most part, our staff does a really good job about communicating back to parents and guardians if there's a complaint. And most of the time, I would say that we come to resolution, we create a plan, and we follow it. And if there's a step backwards on the plan, it's usually addressed immediately. Remember, we agreed that we weren't going to use these words. Remember, we agreed. And there's always going to be 1 or 2 cases every year that no matter what we do, it's not enough. And we'll continue to do the best we can to deal with those also. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next is board share. Do we have anything or does anybody like to share anything right now?
Well, I would, along with what we were just talking about with bullying, I heard a professional football coach talk a few weeks ago. And he talked about what the responsibilities of he and his staff were. And it played right into our school, any school for that matter. He said that their job is to find the best in every one of their athletes and to help build their character and to do it one athlete at a time. And I said, wouldn't that just fit perfectly into our school to change that to child or to student and to one child at a time build character and find the very best that they have in themselves. So I just saw the similarities there and I thought I'd share that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm glad that you shared that. That's good.
I'd like to thank everyone for the great, welcoming for the school board and, the School Board Appreciation Month. I appreciate you being here and thank you for being so welcoming as a new board member. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, this is amazing. I always like looking through all of the little notes and everything that we get from the kids. My favorite. I love them so much. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you brought that up for sure. And the donut poster, that's pretty amazing too.
Those are the best 0 calorie donuts.
All right. Any additional board share items? Okay, so with nothing left to share, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Excellent. It's been moved and seconded, and that concludes this evening's board meeting. Thank you.
Robert, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All
You
right.
guys have a good evening.
All right, you too. Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.